Yaku, this employer, writes the following. If an employee is absent for more than 3 days, question mark. Now, the question is wide open. What is the permutations that can play out here?
So we don't know, obviously, the reason for his absenteeism at this moment. He might be off sick. If he is off sick, the Basic Conditions Act requires that if he's absent for more than 2 consecutive days, he must provide a sick note. Otherwise, it will be simply regarded as being absent without leave, which is a misconduct. And also possibly failing to inform, if he did not inform his employer that he is going to be absent from work. Alternatively, if we don't know why he is absent, he has not informed, we don't know whether he is sick, it might be desertion. He might not be planning to come back to work at all. If that is the case, there's a whole different procedure to follow for the employer. He must try and contact that employee, send a notice to his last known address to tell him that he has been absent from work, he is deserting and he needs to return to work on a specific date. If he still does not make contact, a second notice for a hearing possibly. And if he does not attend the hearing and you can prove that the notice was served on him, the employer would be within his rights to dismiss him in his absence. However, there are some possible complications with that, because if that employee turns up 2 months later, it's not desertion anymore, it's simply absenteeism, and he would have to provide a good reason as to why he was absent. And it will be up to the employer whether he will accept that reason or not. So it's a type of appeal process that follows then as to why such a dismissal should not be made permanent. But it is quite a technical process, so it's something that employer will have to be circumspect about.
What is the time frame between the first and second notice by the employer to the employee?
Well, normally you would state that the employee needs to return to work by a certain date. If he does not return,
tomorrow morning?
By tomorrow morning or by whenever. And then if he does not return, you can immediately issue a second notice and say, well, there will be a hearing on a specific date. Normally you will have to give at least 48 hours notice of a hearing, but probably in this case, a longer notice period will be applicable or preferable, as we don't know where the employee is. So possibly 5 days or whatever the circumstances dictate, but a minimum of 48 hours notice of a hearing is required.